Adam brought up Derek's handling of the Gun Self-Defense for Women film fundraiser, saying that his quiet removal of the promised cameo made the project misleading to those who had already backed it, and how he later had done the same and misled even more people after raising money from Mumkey Jones fans to create Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting, only to never make it and release an unrelated film comprised of reused footage to keep the money.
I couldn't in good faith at all promote your fucking Kickstarter. That would be entirely immoral, because like I believe, based on how you've organized your other crowdfunding campaigns, I believe that you would not deliver on the promises from your campaign. And to put my name on that and be like, hey, everybody, donate to this, then I'm a part of your scam.
Adam closed the discussion by stating that he'd tried everything he could to be as nice to Derek as possible in the past, but that over the years it's made very little difference, and that there are some people that simply cannot be reasoned with. In the same stream, Adam publicly mentions that upon reaching out to Felix following his Cool Cat Kid superhero review, he made known Derek's Kickstarter history.
The reason why PewDiePie didn't do it might be because of me, because I literally DM'd him saying, here's the last 2 crowdfunding projects he's made. And here's what he didn't deliver his promises on. You're free to do with this information what you wish. Because I don't want him to, like, hurt his brand by saying, hey, donate to this thing, and then nobody getting anything from it, right?
Derek would near immediately leave a comment on this video lashing out at Adam, but deleted it within 20 minutes. Too little, too late. Wow, what a backstabber Adam is. I'm glad he read my letter, because it shows just how friendly and professionally I approached him, and he pulls this crap. For years, this person has dreamed of having his face in a Cool Cat project, and I offered just that. And this also would have led into an invitation to appear in the 3rd annual 420 Awards. I truly consider this to be a cockroach move. He is definitely not a cool cat, but a filthy bully. And he blocks the Cool Cat Twitter. How childish. Grow up, boy, and shame on you. Derek Savage. 2 days following this stream, Derek would publicize his Kickstarter project as originally planned, but upon discovering what Adam had said, he felt the need to respond with a video called Derek Addresses 2 Campaigns, PewDiePie, and Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting Movie. In it, he tried to defend himself in hopes of disproving Adam's statements, and once again attempted to reach out to Felix for involvement in Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting.
I'm Derek Savage, and I'm here to address some mistruths about a couple campaigns that I did, Kickstarter style campaigns, and also I'm going to address PewDiePie. Okay, last week Adam put out a video stating that I screwed people and or cheated people out of money on a couple past campaigns. One was the Gun Self-Defense for Women. Now this film's been out for about 3 or 4 years now.
In this video, Derek claimed he kicked Adam from Gun Self-Defense for Women after he lied about him in his Cool Cat Learns Fair Use video, and that Adam was emotionally manipulating his audience by bringing up the fact that people had pledged to the project specifically for his involvement. He said people were allowed to have refunds if they wished, neglecting Adam's point of him not making this change known. He also claimed to have been in talks with Felix's manager, and upon interaction going silent, was emailed by someone claiming Adam was the reason for this.
And someone emailed me a few months ago and said that Adam contacted PewDiePie and told lies about me, and that's why PewDiePie backed out, or went silent on it. And I looked at that email, I said, nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And then on that video Adam made last week, I heard him with his own lips said that he contacted PewDiePie and told him that the last 2 campaigns I scammed people and I never made the film. Well, you know what? That's a damn lie right there.
Derek seemed to avoid Adam's claim that he hadn't released Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting, and acted as if Adam was instead arguing Gun Self-Defense for Women was the film to have never come out. Derek then discussed what he believed to be Adam's motive behind this.
Why in the world would he have purposely and intentionally lied to PewDiePie, to cheat PewDiePie out of a part to be in this feature film, in this project? And the only answer I could come up with is pure jealousy. That's it. Maybe you can come up with a better one or a different one. Great, but that's the one I come up with. So PewDiePie, from me to you, hey man, I'd love to have you in the project. I don't know much about you. I know that you got the big YouTube channel and all that good stuff, but literally, dude, when you sent that tweet to me, I've got well over 2,000 either emails or tweets or YouTube comments, thousands of them, where they want you in this project. I'm just letting you know. And because of what came down, I was going to give you a part. Now I'll give you a starring role. Okay, now.
He then goes on in depth about the situation Adam had been referring to with Mumkey Jones, calling him Ape Boy. Derek says he was not fired or kicked from the project, but had betrayed him and lied by claiming this was the reason.
When I first got the idea for this project right here, and it was just going to be a short project, I did an Indiegogo on it. I believe it was the Indiegogo, and I got an email from somebody, Ape Boy, or something like that. I can help you raise that $25,000 if you make me the school shooter or one of them. And I said, hey, deal, done. I did not kick him out of the project or nothing. And then all of a sudden, I get a bunch of tweets and everything saying that Ape Boy was throwing hate at me, saying that I fired him and I kicked him out, and that's all BS right there.
He then discussed his new project, Cool Cat Fights the Virus, claiming Adam had stated it was all a scam and showed the film's project file as proof to the contrary.
So guys, I hope that clarifies a lot of things right there. And bottom line, I am telling you, if anyone ever says that Derek Savage cheated them out of money and or did not release a project, know right then and there you are dealing with a liar and someone who is intentionally trying to deceive you. Always remember, Cool Cat loves you.
Upon posting this video, Derek was heavily criticized, and many approached Adam for a response. He stated he didn't originally plan to give one, but upon being invited onto the Drunken Peasants podcast the following day, the situation naturally came up.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect him to make a video about it.
Oh, I didn't know he did. I just saw
we should probably watch the video.
Okay. I just saw he made you an
Okay,
offer
I
you
didn't
can't
think I was
refuse.
going to address this ever, but sure.
Sorry.
I was
probably-
like literally debating in my head, like, is it worth it to even talk about this?
It's
Okay,
really
I'll,
but at the
I'll-
same
I'll
time,
yell at you to pause when I have a bunch of things that contradict what he
Alright.
says.
I'll get it.
You're welcome to be petty on Drunken Peasants anytime.
Over the course of this stream, Adam replied directly to Derek's points and gave context regarding the situation. He also clarified that despite messaging Felix and talking about Derek's history, Adam did in fact want him to accept the offer, but felt informing him of the past controversies was a professional courtesy. This stream would dredge up most of Derek's older controversies, and echo the feelings of many people who were aware of his antics over the years.
PewDiePie, if he had accepted this film offer, which I wanted him to, and I told him I wanted him to because I would love to see PewDiePie in a Cool Cat film. I just had to make sure, like, if he was going to associate his brand with it, if I knew information about this that could be potentially damaging to his brand, I was going to be a good fucking person, an ethical person, and tell him this information that, you know, he could decide what he wanted to at that point. I didn't say don't be in the movie. I said, okay, here's what happened to his gun self-defense for women thing and how he was dishonest there. Here's what happened with the Mumkey Jones school shooting thing. You know, another burnt bridge, another YouTuber, another campaign where he lied about it and collected funds anyway. So that's two of them. Here's the third. You can decide whether or not you want to be the third and what you would expect from that.
From here, Derek would stop responding and eventually delete the video altogether. But by having gone over all of his past controversies and giving his outlook on them, it led many to believe Derek had yet to learn from any of his past mistakes, and was doomed to keep repeating them. However, despite the fact that this surge of drama began as a result of Adam having little faith in Derek running his fundraisers properly, the attention Derek brought onto himself by responding may have ironically led to an increase in backers for the new Kickstarter. By the end of the project's run, Derek had raised $7,785, which was more than he had ever managed to acquire for any of his projects without direct endorsement from a popular YouTuber. For some reason, some people's reaction to a trash fire is to douse it with gasoline. Several months later, on March 21st, 2021, Derek would announce the film was complete and would be premiering soon, despite him stating in the project that it would have been released 4 months prior. He posted the video unlisted 3 days later for backers to get an early viewing before making it public. However, this version would later be replaced when Derek would decide to make adjustments and allow more people to contribute to the credits sequence by paying for one of the tiers. The film would be released once more on May 12th, 2021. However, despite Derek frequently linking people to it on Twitter, the video would remain unlisted for unknown reasons. This was possibly because because Derek later decided to release it on DVD as well, which may have been a decision later on since the Kickstarter project never mentions a physical release, even as a reward tier offer. Still, few seem to be dissatisfied with having backed the project, and Derek delivered on his promised rewards, a remarkable feat considering his track record. The film itself was as advertised, being the first wholly original Cool Cat property without reused footage since the Hollywood Christmas Parade short in 2013. Although, due to Derek's fallout with Jason, he himself voiced the role once again, and this time wore the costume as well. This is officially credited to Angel De Hope, who was also credited as the art director in Gun Self-Defense for Women, although Jason had revealed this to be a pseudonym used by Derek to avoid revealing he was forced to get into the outfit himself to save money. The plot of the Cool Cat Fights the Coronavirus short was that Cool Cat is hanging out with two kids, showing them proper safety precautions to avoid catching the illness, such as washing their hands thoroughly and the proper way to wear a mask. However, Cool Cat is seen without a mask for the majority of the runtime. During all of this, Dirty Dog is attempting to infect Cool Cat and his friends by throwing coronavirus balls at them, which he has the ability to create due to his magic sauce. I've made so many videos about degenerate furries at this point that the language being used here is kind of giving me nausea.
Those kids are so scared of coronavirus, and I hope my magic plan works. Now I just need to catch one. Yeah! I caught a coronavirus, and now I need to add my magic sauce. I can't believe it! It actually worked! Thank you, Witch Dog, for the evil magical powers.
Derek would later reveal that Witch Dog was the mother to the Dirty Dog character and the original antagonist from the scrapped movie Cool Cat vs. the Wicked Witch that had later become Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting, and that she will still appear in that project. The film also featured the promised songs Derek had teased at, including Dirty Dog's rap number he'd asked Adam to review.
I'm Dirty Dog, and I'm the baddest there is. My coronavirus rhyme are the best there is. Kids are so dumb, and adults are too. I'll cough in their face just to scare them, yeah!
Its upload would go on to reach over 65,000 views, even while remaining in an unlisted state. Gauging the success of the film to what Derek wanted is difficult, but these metrics were nearly double his previous YouTube project, Cool Cat's Crazy Dream. And unlike that film, Cool Cat Fights the Virus would receive a lot of attention from smaller reviewer channels, one of which being Bob Shucks, who made one of the original Cool Cat Saves the Kids reviews that received a strike on the same day as Alex's. However, larger review channels like Adam avoided discussing the new project, probably due to how depressively radioactive and fruitless interacting with Derek or his content was. From here, things would begin to settle down once again, as Derek went back to developing new projects behind the scenes. Despite having kept his word by ending the Cool Cat Fights the Coronavirus film with a scene implying Dirty Dog was going to get Cool Cat at school to lead up to the next project, and even showing the poster for it, Derek would soon reveal that Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting was once again pushed to the wayside in favor of other side ventures. Several months later, he would announce the creation of Cool Cat and 420 award show NFTs, and even made a dedicated Twitter account for the endeavor, which near immediately went inactive. Among the NFTs listed was Gay Weed. A couple of them even sold, though for 0.008 and 0.009 Ethereum respectively. He also stated that the gun used in Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting would become an NFT as well. In response to being criticized over the environmental damage caused by NFTs, Derek denied this and stated that mining for bitcoins is very guilty of that. Only 3 people today are known to have bought any of the Cool Cat NFTs released by Derek, and following his attempt at a new form of merchandise, Derek would return to his old ways once again and announce in November of 2021 that he would be releasing yet another re-edit called Cool Cat Saves the Kids Director's Cut, by adding further alterations to Cool Cat Kid Superhero, despite the fact that the previous version was repeatedly referred to as a director's cut as well. Derek had first mentioned the idea of releasing the film again in early 2020, just 2 years after the last cut, and in November of 2021, put up a fundraiser for the project with a goal of $300, again stating that there was no risk involved since the footage was already done.
Hi, I'm Derek Savage of the Cool Cat brand, and hey, we got some spectacular news for you today. If you've ever heard of a movie called Cool Cat Saves the Kids. You know, that's the film that really just helped the Cool Cat brand branch out. Well, you know, we're coming out with the director's cut. And got a lot of new footage. Oh, it's just gorgeous footage you never seen before, and Cool Cat is at his prime. Oh, Lordy be. So you're going to love it. And plus, this is going to take the runtime up to approximately 100 minutes, which is a perfect runtime for a film.
It would later be revealed that the footage in question was in fact 6 minutes of the unreleased pilot for Cool Cat Flips a House, rather than any original material, which may also be why its pilot episode runtime was shortened from 25 minutes to 18 minutes. The only other major change from Kid Superhero was Derek dubbing over Jason's lines in order to voice Cool Cat himself, as if his distorted twang would improve the film. He revealed the purpose behind the director's cut was to once again have a newer version that could get picked up for a streaming deal in hopes of attracting publicity for an investor to fund Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting, which Derek later stated would require a $1.2 million budget to produce. That is $1,200,000 being asked by a guy who has failed to muster up original content in almost a decade now. On the Kickstarter page, he offered various Cool Cat merchandise and the chance to be named in the film's credit sequence. The project would be fully funded within the month at $1,483. Who are the absolute madmen who keep giving this lunatic money? By January, he would announce the new cut was fully edited and would be released on DVD that February. It seemed more and more apparent to viewers that Derek's actions would repeat themselves over and over, with him consistently trying similar yet new ways of expanding the brand, only to be met with the same hurdles each time. This film, like all of his others, didn't manage to attract the streaming deal or investor backing Derek had so desperately wanted. In June, he would release an announcement regarding his books that would talk about many of his upcoming plans. Most of his children's stories written over the years would return after having been out of print for the majority of time after their release, other than Cool Cat Stops Bullying through an eBay listing. These included Cool Cat, Baby Cat, Trolley the Trout, Best Buddies, and even Donnie the Dinosaur, which by then hadn't been mentioned on his website for over 9 years. Among them was also Bible Birdie, whose printed version was made using the full cover designed for him by James of the Odd Ones Out over 6 years before.
Bible Birdie loves Jesus, and this is a faith Christian themed book. 5 chapters. This is a chapter book right here. You know, not pictures. This is text right here. Look at that. Isn't that just absolutely spectacular right there?
Derek doesn't acknowledge what made him change his mind after he'd stated he wasn't going to use the entirety of James's work. Strangely, for this re-release of his Cool Cat series, he opted to remove the Spanish text that made the books bilingual, which had been an aspect of the series he'd been praised for in the past.
Page right here.
Librarian.
Half page. I had the English and Spanish text. Oh, it was just they didn't like them.
We got rid of the
Well,
Spanish text. Yeah, they used to be
God.
bilingual. They used to have English and Spanish. That's funny.
No longer will we kowtow to big Latinx.
He also stated that he was now working on a book called Cool Cat Loves Vacations, which was a story that appeared to be an altered version of Cool Cat Loves Las Vegas, right down to the cover design. Evidently, he was in the process of adapting it into a short film, and hoped to cast Britney Spears in the project.
This is a book and a short script project. I'm about to talk to a couple Las Vegas officials, see if we can get it. I need to cast one actress. I know who I'm going to be pitching for it. Don't know if we're going to get her or not, but Miss Britney Spears was just in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and she announced publicly that she loves Las Vegas. And now that she's married, congratulations, Britney. Very, very, very happy for you. You know, you never know. She may be hoping to do a nice kids project. You know, wouldn't that be so awesome to get Britney Spears? I already have her contact info on how to get to her people and everything. So, hey, the pitch is going out, and you can bet your bottom dollar on that one.
To many, it seemed like Derek was continuing to try the same ploys as he always had. This only became more evident when later that same month, he would showcase yet another upcoming project called Cool Cat vs. Dirty Dog Unleashed, with his introduction video opening with nearly a full minute of footage of the Harrier jet owned by his friend Art Knowles, and yet again stating that on top of supposedly producing the project, Art would allow the jet to be featured in the film, making it the second film ever to feature a live Harrier jet, with the first being True Lies starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. What is he, a plane enthusiast? Why does he care about the Harrier jet thing so much? Does he think it gives him credibility? If so, isn't this literally the plot to a Better Call Saul episode where he asks an old guy to do stuff stolen valor so that he can shoot a commercial with a plane in the background. I guess art really does imitate reality. Or art imitates art or something.
I got some spectacular news coming to you, and that's about our brand new film, and that's Cool Cat versus Dirty Dog Unleashed. And in this project right here, the coronavirus is going away. It's going, and that just makes Dirty Dog mean, and it makes him mad. You know, because Dirty Dog, he don't like kids, and he likes to try to punk them, and he wants to pollute everybody with the coronavirus or whatever. So he's making his own, the Dirty Dog virus. And it's up to Cool Cat to save the world. You already know it is, but Cool Cat needs some help, and this is what I'm really, really proud of, or really happy that I was able to put this together. One of my producing partners, we've been working together for the past decade, is Lieutenant Colonel Art Knowles, and the Colonel owns the world's only civilian Harrier jet, and he gave me full permission. He says, Derek, use any footage you want on the Harrier jet, and so this will be the second movie ever, at least to my knowledge.
Derek had originally planned for Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting to claim the title of second film to feature a Harrier jet, but presumably had made the switch as a means of marketing this next project in hopes of attracting investors in the future. He also stated the movie will include Beaver, who is now being referred to as Dirty Dog's prisoner, in response to backlash for using the word slave.
Hey guys, what's up, Beaver? Hey, Beaver, what's happening? Say hi to everybody. Hi, Daddy Derek, and thank you for casting me in your movie.
Wow! Is Dirty Dog, has it been punking with you?
Dirty Dog's so mean. I hate being Dirty Dog's prisoner.
Hey, you better go and hide now, okay, buddy? Bye!
Bye-bye.
Derek went on to state that the movie had 75 to 80% of its runtime already shot, but that this included reused footage taken from the pilot for Cool Cat Flips a House.
On this project, I already have about 75 to 80% of the film already filmed. I was shooting a project where it was about flipping a house, and that was the working title, and I want to work that in. That's the B story where, you know, Cool Cat and I are working on a house, and then it starts ramping the virus, and Dirty Dog's just making up just viruses, trying to pollute the kids. Oh my Lord! Oh, there's one of them suckers right there. He's already trying to attack me.
Despite Derek's blatant footage recycling, going as far as repurposing its poster for the new film, he still states to this day that the project is still in development and is being pitched to production companies. As of now, Derek continues to focus his efforts on developing Cool Cat vs. Dirty Dog Unleashed, going as far as to repeat past attempts to garner success by offering roles to celebrities like Tommy Wiseau through his tweets. However, as he's grown more willing to hire fans for film work, he would go a step further and open the movie up to audience involvement by having fans submit speaking roles for a chance to be selected for a cameo in the movie. He recently stated that he's writing new scenes for the movie and revealed that the plot would involve Dirty Dog making his own, far deadlier virus. The fan cameo is intended to be a video message sent to Cool Cat in order to warn him of this and save the kids. I'd remark on the absurdity of Dirty Dog going Ted Kaczynski, but at this point, does it even surprise you how tone-deaf these plots are? One of the latest teasers announced yet another Kickstarter campaign for the new movie and opened with reused green screen footage of Jason Johnson's portrayal of Cool Cat, with Derek dubbing new lines over top. It seems that after all this time, very, very little has changed. While Derek's production cycle continues to encounter these same pitfalls time and time again, so too does Derek himself, as controversies continue to follow him. His most recent wave of backlash stemmed from a tweet posted after the results of the Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard trial, in which Derek once again attempts to get him involved in Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting, leading to commenters berating him for trying to leverage the attention of the event for personal gain. At nearly the same time, he made a similar tweet in the wake of the Texas shooting, believing that releasing the film would help remedy the spree killer trend. A thought so insensitive it's hard to even reproduce it. To this day, Derek continues to assert that Cool Cat Stops a School Shooting will come out, with ever-growing expectations for its success. The same is also true with his other unreleased work, such as Cool Cat Flips a House, Cool Cat vs. Dirty Dog Unleashed, Cool Cat Loves Vacations, and a new box set for the Cool Cat films he's since talked about creating in order to add the DVDs for Cool Cat Fights the Coronavirus and the 2022 Director's Cut. Even with all of of these ongoing plans, Derek continues to sit in a very similar position today as he had many years before any eyes were on him at all. Still repurposing the same Cool Cat footage, still looking for investors and TV deals, and still filled with an undying sense of enthusiasm that he's doing the right thing, both morally and business-wise, with success looming just around the corner, in probably the strangest and most well-documented, even if indirectly, case of someone suffering from severe gambler's fallacy, truly believing that if he continues to double down, it might work out. Despite his occasional bouts of blatant scamming and defrauding, there's no way he doesn't, on some level, feel attached to the Cool Cat project. He's been working at it for so long, it's impossible it's not his life's work, however absurd that may sound. It doesn't seem to profit him much of anything beyond universal mockery, and the man is now in his 60s, yet he just keeps going. Derek's life, in many ways, appears to be a cycle of compromises towards reaching his goals, which may have been the same way since the very beginning. Originally hoping to be an action star, he was forced to write his stories such that he would have a main role, but once again, he had no other option but to adapt them into film himself since no one else would. He would then reuse footage again and again, hoping to get the attention of the right people, and achieve the goal of having his work become famous, like he'd always wanted. By seeing his online following grow, Derek clings to the notion that each new project he releases inches him closer to his objectives, but he lacks the self-awareness necessary to realize how people truly feel about his work, even after all these years. The same incompetence that attracted his following in the first place is unfortunately the reason why he's never been able to accept the help it's offered him. Other directors in his position were able to utilize the attention they attracted and successfully built loyal fan bases who will support them in ways that the mainstream film world would never have with the quality of their work. Or rather, lack of quality. Derek could have been one of them, but he refuses to learn from his past mistakes. He simply cannot resist the grift. While this means he will most likely continue to produce films that his audience, however limited, will enjoy, it also means that his business practices may never change, and that each online figure who tries to aid him will just be another burnt bridge, leaving him unable to truly take a step forward. Derek's story may in fact never have an ending, and like Cool Cats, will continue on with only slight changes, incompetent mistakes, and recycled material ever so slightly altered.
Someone should do a Daddy Derek documentary, 100%. There's gotta be some sort of conclusion. The narrative is ongoing. You could make it, how about you make a documentary and keep it open for a sequel?
I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching this stupidly long video, and until next time, leave me alone. I think I need the time to heal.
I've heard it 1,000 times before, and it's just not that funny anymore.
I wanted to buy like those luxury like fruit gift boxes to bring today.
Is that why you asked me what my favorite fruit is?
Yeah.
Hello everyone, here I am in my penthouse with this beautiful view over Philadelphia, and I'm just up here celebrating my first $1 million in day trading profits. And if you stick around, I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it and how you can do it too. Except, here's the thing. I'm not actually a millionaire. This penthouse isn't actually mine, it's just a hotel. These clothes aren't even mine, I got them from Goodwill, and I'm not even sure where I got the champagne from. You see on YouTube, you see all these big day traders showing their exuberant lifestyles with their Lamborghinis and private jets, but how real is it all? So I decided to take a closer look into some of the most well-known day traders in the community to see what I could find, and honestly, I found some things that are pretty shocking that literally no one is talking about. So we're gonna go into that. But first, a quick message from our sponsor. So a couple weeks ago, my dog Cooper took a big step in his life. He became a lord. Look at this little guy, from puppy to lord. They grow up so fast. That's right, Cooper now is an official document from established titles. The document is based on an old Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords and ladies. So now, Cooper has a square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number in Edelston, Scotland. Not only does Established Titles give you this cool certificate and title, which allows you to officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, or dating profiles, making it a great last-minute gift, but it's also a really fun way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland. For every order that Established Titles receives, they plant a tree and work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. So if any of this interests you, or you just need a last-minute gift, then you're in luck. Established Titles is running an early Black Friday sale right now. Plus, if you use the code SCARETHEATRE, you get an additional 10% off. Also, the first 200 people that purchase a title using my link will have their plot effectively next to Cooper's plot. So you can help Cooper and I build our own Scare Theater kingdom. Go to establishedtitles.com/scaretheater to take part and support the channel.
I really feel like people that vlog really make the life look 10 times more interesting than it really is. You know, yes, everybody sees the glitz and the glimmer, but I think when you go behind the scenes and you really follow somebody and you really go through everything one by one, it's not really all that.
Umar is one of the flashier traders out there, flexing his expensive cars, watches, and trips on his private jet. Hell, the kid even made a video about buying a Lamborghini at age 24. He puts on quite a display, but don't get me wrong, he's hardworking. At age 27, he's successfully running 3 businesses, Stock Market Lab, TradeZilla, and Ashraf Capital, alongside his trading. But all of this success didn't happen overnight. In 2018, Umar made an appearance on Andrew Hale's Chatting With series, where he talked about his beginnings as a trader. According to this interview, Umar started trading when he turned 18 years old and was able to open up a brokerage account. He had $20,000 saved up and dove straight in, ready to take on the market. Of course, like many people, he didn't really know what he was doing at the time, but he started on a very lucky winning streak. His first trade was on JCPenney. He dumped his whole $20,000 into the stock for no real reason.
It was a January because that's when my birthday is, and I turned 18. I opened up a brokerage account and I bought JCPenney.
Okay, hold on. Why did you choose JCPenney?
Absolutely no reason. I just saw the stock and I was like, oh, I think it's a good buy, and I bought JCPenney.
Why did you think it was a good buy?
I just looked at the charts and I had no idea what it was telling me, but I just felt like it was a good buy, and I put money into it and it went up.
Only 2 days later, he's able to sell the stock for a profit of around $2,500.
Because I know retail at the time was having a huge problem. Retail was falling, so I was like, oh, JCPenney, they're never gonna go down. Let me buy them. So I bought them, and next thing you know, they went up 2 days later, and I made about $2,500.
And you sold it?
Yeah, and I sold it and made $2,500,
wow.
And now...
He kept repeating this process of dumping his whole account into one stock, basically at random, and it just kept working. He was able to turn his initial $20,000 into $35,000 in just 2 months. As I'm sure you're expecting, this story doesn't end well. Eventually, the lucky streak ended, and over the next 6 months, his account slowly bled until it dropped all the way down to $2,000. After experiencing a very expensive lesson, he decided he wasn't going to let this stop him. He was going to learn how to do things the right way this time around. He spent the rest of the year studying the stock market and saving up money, until next January, when he turned 19, he decided to try again, but this time with only $5,000. He spent some more time trading with smaller size and learning, and once he started to get the hang of things, he saw some good progress. According to Umar, on that year he profited around $20,000. Nothing life-changing, but given that most people in trading never make money, definitely not bad. From here, things went well, which eventually led to him becoming a millionaire by the age of 22.
This is all short-term stuff.
All short-term.
Yeah.
All short-term.
And now you're a millionaire.
Yeah. It took me 3 years. By 22, I was a millionaire.
So that's his story. From middle-class kid to millionaire in only 4 years. Aside from day trading, Umar also runs a stock trading education service called Stock Market Lab. Subscribing to this service gets you access to a course that covers a bunch of topics on day trading, access to Umar's Discord server, and you also get to see like interactive webinars. The current cost for the service is $2,500 for 2 years of access. That's a lot. The site says Stock Market Lab has over 3,000 students. I don't know if this means that there are 3,000 people who are current students, or if it means there have been a total of 3,000 students throughout the lifetime of the course. What I do know is that, looking at an archive of the site from 2021, it was advertised that the community had over 1,000 current members. So let's conservatively assume the Stock Market Lab today must have at least 1,000 members. That's still $1.25 million a year from this course alone. So even if Umar were a poor trader, he'd be pretty set just by selling this course alone. Now, of course, selling a course doesn't necessarily mean that he's not actually a good trader. I mean, having multiple sources of income makes sense, right? But if you're going to be paying that kind of money, you better be pretty damn sure you're getting your money's worth out of it. So I think it's fair if we take a closer look into Umar, starting with Stock Market Lab. Now, you first need to understand that the mass majority of day traders fail. The most agreed on statistic is that 90 to 95% lose money in the long run, and of that 5% that don't lose money, only a very small percentage actually make enough to live off of. You might look at these numbers and think, well hey, that's just one more reason why I should buy a course. I need all the help I can get, right? That logic makes sense, but only if these courses will actually significantly increase your odds of success, which I'm skeptical of. Now, I've never purchased Umar's course, so I don't know what's actually in it, but we do have the word of other people who have purchased the course. I think it's important to hear what they have to say. The first example I want to mention is a YouTuber named Shuanghai, who bought Umar's course in 2020, and then made a review on it. He actually gave the course a great review and shared his day trading profits he made since taking the course. He says in August he lost $1,000, in September he made $660, in October he made $280, in November he lost $780, in December he made $180, and in January he made $45, February he made $350, and in March he made $230. So in total he lost about $500 in those 8 months. This didn't discourage him though. He said that he can see where he made mistakes and is confident it's only a matter of time before he makes up the loss and the cost for the trading course. Fast forward a bit, and in May of this year, he made a video announcing that he quit day trading. So it looks like this didn't work out for him too well. Another positive review of the course I found was right here from a woman named Alicia Garcia.
Umar provides us with all the information that we need to become successful, profitable traders in this course. We just have to do the work. So if you're thinking about making the investment, I would definitely recommend this course.
I would take this review with a grain of salt, since I looked into her and it looks like she's teaming up with Umar's brother, Usman, to sell an options trading course called Option Hub. The Stock Market Lab YouTube page also has something called Trader of the Month, where Umar does an interview with one of his students who has done well. In the past, he's brought on students who have made very impressive returns, including a girl who turned $900 into $4,700 in 1 month, a guy that turned $3,000 into $37,000 in 3 weeks, and someone who made over $187,000 in just 2 months. This is impressive, but I need to play devil's advocate and point something out. Even if you were selling a course that had nothing of substance, if you were selling it to thousands of people, it would totally make sense that at least a few of them would get lucky and net some big profits. Showcasing these outliers would be great for marketing. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just saying I would like to see how these traders are doing long term. Was this success able to follow them for years, or is it just a short-term lucky streak? Now, I'll be fair here. In Umar's defense, there are a couple of people who have taken this course who do appear to be doing quite well, even in the long run. One example is Jay Altani, who was Trader of the Month in April of 2020 for turning $3,000 into $25,000. Well, here we are, years later, and he has a YouTube channel where he recaps his trades, and he appears to be successful to this day. We also have this student named Albert O, who was Trader of the Month in July of 2020 for making a profit of $35,000 in a month. And just 8 months ago, an update on his progress is posted, and he still seems to be doing well, closing out 2020 and 2021 profitable. These profits are incredible, but from what I've seen, this does not seem like the norm for his students. I personally don't believe the majority of his students are making this much money right now. Of course, you can make the argument that the ones who failed just weren't trying hard enough, but I have a difficult time believing that someone would pay $2,500 for a course and then not try. Stock Market Lab aside, there were a couple of inconsistencies I noticed about Umar's past that really confused me. Here's where things get interesting. If you remember from the Andrew Hales interview earlier, Umar said that he didn't start trading until he was 18 years old and made his first trade on JCPenney.
So the first trade I made was around
It was a January because that's when my birthday is, and I turned 18. I opened up a brokerage account and I bought JCPenney.
And didn't become a millionaire until he was 22.
And now you're a millionaire.
Yeah, it took me 3 years. By 22, I was a millionaire.
Well, I went to his Instagram page and I scrolled all the way down to the bottom, and I found this post that he made years ago that actually shows the trade that he made on JCPenney. In the comments, Umar seems to acknowledge that this screenshot was indeed his first trade. But what's odd is that in this interview, he claims it happened when he was 18 years old, but this Instagram post was made on March 11th, 2014. Umar was born in August of 1995, so he would have been 19 at the time of this trade, not 18. We'll come to more interesting stuff on that in a moment. I wanted to see if there were any posts Umar made further back than this, so I searched up a web archive to find earlier dates of his Instagram page. The earliest archive I was able to find was from April of 2019. Unfortunately, the images were not able to be archived, but you can see by the title and date that this post here is the JCPenney trade, and there's a bunch of posts from before then that were deleted. Like I said, without the images being archived, we can only speculate on what the images contained from the descriptions. We can see Umar saying, hit 170 with the Lambo, LP560, Lambo LP560 Aston Martin Vantage, the Lambo's here. These were all in 2013, meaning Umar was 18 years old at the time of these. So what was a kid with only $20,000 doing driving Lamborghinis? In this post here, you can even see that someone pointed out this discrepancy in the comments. Since all the comments weren't archived, we can only see this response. So what does this mean? Was Umar born into more wealth than he's letting on about? Did he have wealthy connections? Maybe we're overlooking something. It's suspicious that Umar didn't want us to see these posts. I mean, he deleted them for a reason. Also, remember that stock trader of the month, Albert O, from earlier? It turns out that is not just some random student of Umar. He's actually a longtime friend of Umar's. In 2013, there's an Instagram post from Umar mentioning Albert. So, take that information as you will. So let's get back into the JCPenney trade. Like I said earlier, the date on this post is inconsistent with Umar's story. He claims this trade was taken when he was 18 years old, but this post was made when he was 19 years old. But you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and just assume that he simply misremembered when he placed his first trade, despite him saying he was 18 years old at the time in multiple different interviews.
2013, you got into the markets when you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
And you're 18 at the time?
18, yeah.
18 at the time.
I started trading stocks when I was 18. I got into it as soon as I turned 18.
So the timestamp says this picture is posted on March 11th, 2014. We know this picture was posted on the same day it was taken because it shows JCPenney being quoted at $9.25 at 10:15 a.m. Although JCPenney is no longer publicly traded, I was able to find historical data on it, and on March 11th, 2014, at around 10:15 a.m., the price was indeed at around $9.25. The portfolio says he's up $1,905, which is about a 10.06% increase. This would mean that he had roughly $18,940 as his initial investment in the stock. Not exactly $20,000 like he said, but it's close enough that I'll just assume he was rounding up. So to make $2,500, like he said, you would need about a 13.2% return. If he was up 10.06% with JCPenney priced at $9.25, that means he must have bought at around $8.40. In order to get his 13.2% return, he would have had to sell at around $9.50 per share. Keep in mind, Umar said in the interview that he only held the stock for about 2 days. Well, in the entire month of March 2014, JCPenney never reached $9.50 a share. The highest the stock went that month was $9.28, but that happened at 10:14 a.m., a minute before the screenshot was taken, so we know that he couldn't have sold there. The highest it ever went that month after that was $9.20. So if he sold at that exact high, he would have made around a 9.5% return on the investment of $18,940, which would have only given him a profit of around $1,800, not $2,500. Needless to say, there are a lot of things here that just aren't adding up. But hey, I can focus on the positive too. The most transparent thing that Umar does is every year on Instagram, he will film himself doing a live log into his trading account to show his profits on the year.
What's going on, guys? So here is my year-to-date P&L video. So I do this on a yearly basis, logging into my actual trading account, as you guys can see, which is my Thinkorswim account. On this account, I'm just going to show you guys for transparency purposes how I did for the year. Here we go. You guys can see my account right here. When we go to the year-to-date profits, here we go. We're at $5.5 million, and this is just on this account.
He's one of the only traders that I've seen do this. I don't think this is being faked, and if it is, I don't know how it could be. What I will say though is that I want to see more. I think true transparency would be to show an equity curve so we can see his account swings throughout the year. His broker, TD Ameritrade, can easily show this data. The closest thing I've seen to an equity curve from Umar has been this image from this year. This is his yearly equity curve on his trade journal software, TradeZilla. Although, given this is his platform, I'd much rather see an equity curve from the TD Ameritrade to see how it compares. I think asking for this type of transparency is perfectly reasonable, especially if you're thinking about paying $2,500 for a course. For that kind of money, it should be required to show this level of proof. Now, I don't want to give off the wrong idea here. I'm not trying to hurt Umar's reputation or anything like that. I genuinely tried to be as charitable as I possibly could here. I am making no claims about his legitimacy. That is up for you to decide.
MadAssMadAssMoney.com, and guess what, guys? I made over $500,000 day trading this month. I made enough to go and buy a Lamborghini Aventador, brand new Lamborghini Aventador.
Next up, we're going to be looking at another young multimillionaire, Max, also known as Mad As Money. This guy might even be flashier than Umar, showing off all that money with his watches, cars, and traveling photos. And just look at that bod. Ladies, he's rich and hot. Max's story is another tale of someone becoming rich relatively quickly. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in structural engineering, and in early 2011, at one of his first jobs, he saw one of his co-workers roll up one day in a Lotus Elise. He asked the co-worker how he managed to afford that, considering they weren't making that much money at the time. He revealed that he went all in on BP stock once it crashed during the 2010 oil spill, and wrote it up, making $80,000. Max instantly became enticed by the idea of making quick money and entered the world of day trading. He funded a trading account with $6,000 and got lucky in his first few trades, but then took an unexpected massive loss. From here, he changed his approach and found a niche for himself in penny stocks. He managed to turn $6,000 into $43,000, but then in the summer of 2012, he took another big hit. His account went from $43,000 all the way down to $7,000. Discouraged by the loss, he took a couple months off, but came back in December of 2012 to refine his strategy. From here, things went very well, very quickly. By the end of May 2013, he had brought his account up to $90,000. By March of 2014, the account was close to $300,000 in profits. At this point, he decided to quit his job and trade full-time. Most people know Madaz for the course he sells at MadAssMoney.com, but this isn't actually the first stock trading service that he has sold. Back in 2014, after he quit his job, he created a website called WatchMadasstrade.com. At the time, he was charging his members $129.99 per month. This would give you access to a live stream where you could watch him trade, a private chat room, screenshots of his trade, and all the website's logged content. The service didn't last very long. In 2015, the website was gone. A couple years go by where Max is still active on Twitter and a Blogspot page, and then in 2017, MadAssMoney.com is born. Today, the website generates way more revenue than his old site did. The main thing he sells is access to his trading community, which looks like it gives you access to a chat room, some live trading videos, a private video library, and more. The three payment options he has available are either $149 a month, about $1,490 a year, or a one-time payment of $4,990 for lifetime access. I don't know how many members he has, but I found an article that reviewed his course back in 2020, and they reported that at the time, he had over 650 members. So even if we assume that this business has seen no growth in the past couple of years, and that number remained the same, which I'm sure it's much higher now, that would still be about $968,500 a year if these numbers were on average people choosing the yearly payment option. Obviously, if anyone's going to be paying this kind of money for a service, they should be confident their course instructor is actually reliable. When I did my research on Max, there were a few things I found that were interesting, to say the least. The biggest red flag I saw was a screenshot posted by a Twitter account called Guru Leaks. Guru Leaks is a Twitter page that works to expose shady things in the financial industry. This largely includes day trading gurus. On April 21st, 2021, they made this tweet posting screenshots of a Discord conversation between Madaz and someone named Micah Yo. In this conversation, Madaz tells Micah to stop saying that he's not a millionaire. Instead, he suggests, and I quote, "Let the sheep think you're a millionaire, bro. You're gonna take pics with cars and mansions. You have to be a millionaire to do that in their eyes." He continues to say, "Get something out there to create this illusion that we have lots of content. That will do the trick. I'm taking the same approach with these videos." For some added context, Micah Yo used to work with Madaz until at least 2020. I found an article from 2020 that mentions Micah as a trader on Madaz's team. In 2019, on Micah's YouTube channel, I found a video where he promotes the Madaz Money chat room, and we can see that he is a moderator in the chat. But now, I don't see any mention of Micah Yo on Madaz's website anywhere, and although Micah still makes an occasional Twitter post about trading, he never mentions Madaz. I don't know how exactly this Discord conversation went public, but I can only assume that Micah leaked it. When Guru Leaks made this tweet, it was met by many of Madaz's fans expressing disappointment, along with some fans jumping to defend him, suggesting the conversation could have been faked. Now, I'll try to be fair here. I mean, it is possible this conversation was photoshopped or wildly taken out of context, but if that were the case, you'd think Madaz would want to make an effort to explain what we're seeing, right? Well, here's what's interesting. In this entire Twitter thread, Madaz only made a single reply. Someone in the thread was raising concerns about Madaz refusing to share his trade executions as proof of his trading ability. Madaz replied to this tweet saying, "Why don't you ask Bill Gates to send you Windows for free?" Really? Someone posts a screenshot that makes you look like a fraud, and your only response in the thread is this? I'm not gonna lie, it's just not a good look. One thing I will say about the way Madaz runs things nowadays is that he actually appears to be pretty transparent with his trading results. On his site, you can see his equity curve from every year starting from 2017. In 2017, he netted about $400,000. In 2018, he brought in almost $320,000. In 2019, he profited about $620,000. In 2020, he made an insane profit, making almost $5 million. And in 2021, he made $6.8 million, even with the entire second half of the year being drawdown. Obviously, I'm not just going to take this equity curve at face value, since I'm not even entirely sure how it was sourced. But starting in 2020, Madaz began including account statements from his broker every month as proof that he really was making those trades. And they seem to check out. Could these statements be fabricated? Sure, it's always possible. Like I said before, I feel like the best proof for this type of thing is a live account login that shows P&L and an equity curve. But something about the profits I'm seeing here just feels kind of genuine, especially when you look at how he's doing this year. The year is coming to an end, and as of right now, he's down almost $1 million on the year. You'd think that if someone were faking their profits, they wouldn't fake an entire losing year. So, assuming these profits are real, leaves us one question. How plausible is it for Madaz's student to learn a strategy and be able to execute it properly? To answer this, I went in search of any long-term success stories from Madaz's students. Madaz has a testimonial page on his website that is filled with positive things from his students that felt like they benefited from the course. So I decided to follow up with some of them. I started with Kali Trader. When I contacted him to ask if he would be willing to answer a few questions about Madaz, he immediately told me that they are all BS artists. When I mentioned his testimony and asked if he found continued success trading using Madaz's methods, he told me he did not. Next, I found someone named Maiko, who at one point said many things about his success with Madaz, even sharing that he tripled his account in just 2 months at one point. If you look at his more recent progress, it seems things have changed. In May of this year, Maiko posted on Twitter, "My career high P&L hit an all-time high back in February 2021. Since then, I've hit the same gross level 4 times now and rejects hard every time. Just when I thought I was clear for takeoff to $1 million year, I find myself now questioning my career as a trader. Then in October, he posted this equity curve and said he was done trading after 4 years. He says the stress is too much and has completely lost the desire to continue trading. I was also able to find a couple people who did make claims to long-term success. One was from a guy named Scalp God who had positive things to say about MadAs. On his Twitter page, he's still regularly posting about trading and seems to be raking in some pretty impressive profits. Of course, we'd have to take his word on this since these profits are not actually verified in any way. Finally, I was able to get in touch with a trader named Nico, who made a positive review about MadAs in late 2019 or 2020, claiming he brought his account from $10,000 to $30,000 in a little over a month. To this day, he's still posting his trades on Twitter, as well as posting his monthly trading results. And the results are impressive. I got in contact with him, and he told me he was now a full-time day trader. I asked if he thought MadAs' course was worth the price, and he said it definitely was. I then asked him if he'd be willing to show an equity curve from his broker from 2019 to now. He said that he can't do that because he switched brokers multiple times since 2019. So I asked how long he's been with his current broker, and he said about 2 years. Then I asked if he'd be willing to share a 2-year equity curve, and silence. So make of that what you will. Next up, we have Humble Trader, aka Shay. Her story is fairly straightforward. Before a career as a day trader, she worked in the film and VFX industry. Although the pay was decent, the work was exhausting, so after several years of this, she decided to look for a way out. In 2014, she discovered day trading and fell in love with it. As with most people, it was very rough in the beginning, and she lost money for over a year. Eventually, she learned how to day trade with a proper strategy and risk management, and after some years in the market, she quit her job to pursue trading full-time. She goes by Humble Trader because in her content, you won't see her flexing Lambos or any of that nonsense. She tries to keep it real. So, other than trading, what is her business model? Like all the others, she also sells a trading course. Subscribing to her service gives you access to her Discord chat room, one-on-one coaching sessions, live pre-market trade planning, a video library of trading strategies, and more. For all this, she is charging $1,490 a year. According to her website, she has over 1,000 members, so she must be making nearly $1.5 million a year from this service alone. So is the price worth it? I'm sure you can already see where I'm going with this. My biggest problem with Shay is that, in my opinion, I don't see any real reason to believe that she's actually a profitable trader. Out of all the traders I've talked about, I think she's the least transparent about her trading results. She does not consistently show what her P&L is. In August of 2020, she made a video called "How Much Money Do Day Traders Make?", where she explained why she does not show her P&L. She had 3 main reasons for this. First, she said that seeing other people's P&L didn't help her when she first started trading, so she doesn't see a reason to show hers.
Think about this closely. Do you learn more about trading setups and trade planning from charts like these, and perhaps recap videos with commentaries and executions, or a big fat P&L screenshot like this? For me personally, seeing others' P&Ls did not help me learn as a beginner trader.
Now, Shay, obviously we know that seeing someone else's profits obviously isn't going to help their learning process. That isn't why we're asking to see your P&L. People just want to know if you're qualified to be teaching. You're charging people almost $1,500 a year to be a part of your community and learn from you. So it's completely reasonable they would ask for proof that you're consistently profitable. Her second reason was that if she showed her P&L all the time, it would wear on her mentally because of how people would be snarky if she posted a loss.
The snarky remarks on both my profits and losses affect me and my trading negatively. In trading, the most precious thing after capital preservation is your mental capital.
I'm sure that can be stressful, but if you're selling a course for that much money, I think you're just gonna have to pay up a little bit of that mental capital. Her final reason was that she's still single, and having those numbers out there could affect her personal relationships.
I'm still single, and having these numbers out there in public eye has and will affect personal relationships.
I thought this reason was a little strange. We don't need to see her trading profits to know that she's loaded. We already talked about how much money she's making from selling the course. Sure, we don't know the exact extent of her wealth, but it's already clear that she's pretty wealthy. The following year, at the end of March in 2021, she made another video also titled How Much Money Do Day Traders Make? This is also the pinned video on her channel. In the video, she actually does reveal her P&L publicly for the first time that I'm aware of. But I'm still not satisfied for reasons you'll see in a moment. In this video, she showed her full broker statements from January and February of 2021. In total for the month of January, her starting capital from both accounts combined was $186,108, and she was able to make a profit of $58,582, which would be about a 31.47% increase. I have to clarify this real quick since I forgot to do it while making the video. If you actually add up these two ending balances, you'll see that the actual profit is around $8,500. The reason I added $50,000 to that is because she showed us in the video that in the middle of the month, she wired $50,000 out of the account. So I re-added the $50,000 to the final balance to give us what the true P&L is. In February, she opened a third account, so I'll be looking at the profit of 3 different accounts for this month. In total of all accounts for February, her starting capital was $494,965, and she ended the month with a profit of $145,004, about a 29.29% increase to bring that number up to $639,970. These profits are incredible to say the least, yet I'm still not impressed. For the record, I don't think that she faked these at all. I think these profits were all completely legitimate, but I think it's very strange that she only showed 2 months of profit. She couldn't even show us a quarter of a year of profits. This is way too small of a sample size to know if she's actually consistently making money in the long run. Anyone, even if they're just gambling, can have a winning streak. A perfect example of this is a post I found on Reddit from a year ago. This guy made a post announcing he's done trading after 15 years of trying. I want to show you his profits over these 15 years. As you can see, they're pretty awful, but look at this. In 2009, he was profitable, and in 2010, not only was he profitable, but he also beat the market that year. But in the long term, look at how terrible these returns are. So if in this example, 2 whole years of profitability didn't mean anything for his long-term process, why should we be taking 2 months of profitability seriously? We need long-term data, at least 3 years in my opinion. Now, all that aside, let's take a look at how some of her students are doing with their trading. Shay does have a section on her website for reviews, and I'll admit, I had a difficult time trying to get in contact with anyone that left a positive review here, so I can't say how these people are doing one way or another. Shay also has a page on her site titled Success Stories, in which she shares the stories of some of her most successful students. Out of all the people listed here, only 3 of them offer some sort of evidence of their trading progress. The page for Daniel and Lucas show equity curves, and the page for Jeff shows a red versus green day calendar. Now, we don't actually know if these charts are genuine or not, but I'll be charitable here and just assume that they are. These are still insanely small sample sizes. The equity curve for Daniel and Lucas only shows 1 month of data, and the calendar for Jeff only shows 3 months of data. Plus, we don't even know how large his red or green days were. For all we know, 1 red day might have wiped out 3 or 4 green days. We need to see these people's progress over the long term in order to assess whether they actually have an edge or not.
All 6 months of this trading has been live. It's been live, every trade's been live. There's no, oh, I bought this, and then I tell everybody, no, it's all live. You see it, I talk about the trade before I take it.
The final trader we'll be looking at is StockJock. This one is a refreshing change of pace because out of the many traders I researched while making this video, I can honestly say StockJock is one of the only ones that I'm near 100% confident is legitimate for reasons you'll see in a moment. StockJock has been trading for over a decade now. He started dabbling in stocks right after he graduated high school when his father gave him some stock of some sort of vitamin company. A few years later, he sold the stock, not for a lot of money, and decided to use that money to get into some more active trading. He toyed around with different types of trading in college, but didn't make any amazing progress. After graduating, he became a soccer coach for 6 years, but due to an abrupt coaching change, he unexpectedly lost his job. He used this opportunity to focus more on trading. The next 2 years did not go so well. The first year he lost around $20,000, and the second year he lost around $15,000. After these 2 bad years, he finally found his stride in the market, and the next year, which is either 2014 or 2015, he made around $56,000, and the year after that, he made around $80,000, and he hasn't had a negative year since. In fact, 2020 and 2021 were particularly good years for him. In 2020, he profited $900,000, and in 2021, he made over $1 million. Now, how can we be so confident that all of this is true? Well, for one, unlike the other traders we discussed, StockJock isn't selling anything. Never at any point will you see him try to sell some sort of course or subscription service. And in addition to that, he's the most transparent trader I've seen. He's most well known for his live streams on Twitch. He streams himself trading live every single day, so it's impossible for him to lie about any of the trades he's making. I've tried finding inconsistencies with his stories or trade records, but everything seems to check out. He genuinely seems like he just wants to help people. Now, when I made this video, I reached out to a bunch of different traders to do an interview with, and of course, the most transparent trader was the only one who agreed to do it. So here's an interview that I did with StockJock, where we dived a little bit deeper into the world of trading. Alright guys, so we have StockJock here. Thank you so much for joining this.
No problem.
So the reason I wanted to talk to you first was because of pretty much all the day traders in the community that I've seen at least, you seem to be one of the most transparent ones. You're not posting Lambos on social media or anything like that. You're not.
Wish I had one.
Yeah. You're not selling courses, and you live stream literally every single day. So I mean, it would be pretty hard to fake any of these results. So I did end up looking into you just to see what got you into day trading, and you've been doing this for 12 years now. Is that right?
Yeah, about full time. I'd say about 10, but dabbling before that, you can go 12 plus. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So when you graduated high school, your dad gave you some stock of a vitamin company as some sort of a gift. Is that right?
Yeah, like a little graduation present. Yeah. So if you want me to dive into a little background, I can give you my background.
Sure. Yeah, let us know how you started. Now, this interview was a little bit over 45 minutes long, so in the interest of making this video not much longer than it already is, I'm going to be cutting out a significant portion of the interview, particularly the introductory section, since we've already covered how he got started. However, if you do want to see the full uncut interview, which I suggest you watch because we had a great conversation, I'll be leaving a link to that in the description. In the spirit of the video, I'm going to be focusing more on the critical questions that I asked him, including how is trading any different from gambling, his thoughts on why so many people fail at day trading, his strategy, and finally, a 3-year equity curve. So, I feel like a lot of people that look at day trading from the outside, there's definitely plenty of them that feel like this is no more than just a big casino, really. So, as a successful day trader, what do you think differentiates trading from gambling?
That's a good question, and I've been mulling. When we talked about our pre-interview conversation, I was like, that's a good question, and I think it's valid. Can trading be gambling? Absolutely, sure. If you don't know what you're doing and you're just putting your money on the table, absolutely, you're gambling. You're putting your money down. You're hoping that something happens. You have no idea what you're doing. That's gambling for sure. What I do is different. I'm looking at a set of parameters and a strategy that I've developed over time that has shown results over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I'm playing those results in that strategy to a T. And when it works, I make money. When it doesn't work, I'm out for a small loss. That's the key. I try to get out with a small loss. My win percentage doesn't matter. It's probably 50% or below on a trade when I take a trade based off my candle over candle method that we'll talk about later. But what matters is when it doesn't work, you get out immediately. So your loss is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents on however many shares you took, and when it does work, you're making 10, 15, 20 cents. So you take a paper cut on a loss, but you rake it in when it works. And that's the key to it. Recognizing that the strat isn't working on this stock, get out. If it worked, you get out when you said you were going to get out.
Small losses, big wins.
Yeah, bigger wins.
yeah, ideally. So I also want to talk about how how incredibly difficult trading is for most people. I have this study here. I mean, I know we all hear that statistic that like 95% of traders fail or whatever. But I have this study right here that I'm sure you've heard, where it was a study done on the Brazilian equity futures markets. Between 2013 and 2015, and they found that they only looked at people that traded for more than 300 days, and of those people, 97% lost money, 1.1% earned more than the Brazilian minimum wage, and only 0.5% earned more than the starting salary of a bank teller. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I know the study you're talking about. I haven't looked at it deeply. I would say that it's probably a poor comparison to the stock day traders in the stock market. Being maybe that sounds, I don't know anything about it. It could be a very illiquid thing that they're trading or whatever. I would say, however, that
I want to interrupt real quick. That they also mentioned that that the Brazilian equities future market is the third in the world in terms of volume.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Brazilian, whatever futures. I would say this, though. I would agree that most people probably lose money. And it's probably because of the same reason that I lost money my first 2 years. I dove straight into it. I used real money. I didn't know what I was doing. When you go, we are plankton in the sea of the stock market. We are plankton. We are fodder for plankton. That's how small we are. We are swimming amongst whales, and they just want to gobble us up. So even though I don't know anything about that study, I would probably agree that the majority of failure has to do more with people diving in with real money, not knowing what the heck they're doing, than their skill and skills that they developed as a day trader. So with my group, and whenever we have new traders come in, the first thing I tell them is do not use real money when you're learning. You could learn this gig for free. You spend month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it takes to develop a strategy on paper trading being fake money, monopoly money. You open up a brokerage account. They give you 50,000 fake dollars. You play with that. You develop a strategy. That's what I should have done when I first started out. It would have saved me 2 years of heartache if I would have done that. After you get your strategy, you're only 40% of the way there, because now you have to step your feet in to the ocean where the whales are, and you're trying to make a green trade at that point. I tell people, when you step into the real money, you're not going in with 500 shares, 1,000 shares, 2,000. You go in with one share, because now you have to learn the emotional side of trading, which is the absolute hardest part. You have to learn how to sit at your desk for 8 hours a day and maybe make a buck and potentially lose money. The emotional roller coaster that you go through. And then on the flip side of that, when you actually kill it on a trade, you have to be able to manage that emotion, your heart pounding out of your chest because you just killed it. And you don't want to go blow it on the next trade that you make. You want to make sound, concise moves, sticking to your strategy in all situations. If it's going good, you stick to your strat. If it's going bad, you stick to your strat. And the emotional side is the hardest part of it, because a lot of people get into the trap of, oh, I made a red trade. I need to make it back on the next trade. I need to get bigger size so I can get back on the next trade. And that's not what you do, but that's what all the newcomers to the space do. So, and that's one of the reasons why I started my group, is because I wish I had this kind of a group that we've got now when I started. And it's just to help people not fall in the pitfalls that are out there as a new trader.
Okay.
You've got to go slow.
Got it. Okay, so now we can get into your strategy, the candle over candle. Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing actually new. I didn't develop it. I figured it out on my own when I was learning, because I didn't know what it was called or where you could find it. You got to understand, like 10, 12 years ago, the resources out there for this kind of learning, you had to usually pay you had to pay a chat room to get in there, glean from them what you could, watch their videos. None of them talked about a 2-bar play or a 3-bar play. That's what the candle over candle methodology is. That's all it is you wait for a big move up, you wait for a pullback. If the pullback is looking decent, not a steep pullback, but up in the upper third range, the next candle over candle, that's your entry, and you exit at the high of that current run that you're in. It's very simple, but that's when I was watching that and I was looking at the charts, I was like, this is how stocks move. This is how they consistently move in an upward trend when things have a lot of momentum behind them. And yeah, without pulling up a chart or anything like that, it's kind of hard to explain. But
Yeah. Do you think you could pull up a chart real quick? If you can.
Probably. How would I do that via Discord?
So on Discord, there's a button on the bottom, like right next to where your camera is, and it'll say share screen, and then you can just it'll share whatever's on your monitor.
Oh, okay. Let me pull up this chart then. Let me pull up E-Trade. Screen. I've got an ultra wide, so hopefully. Does that look okay?
Yeah, let me make it full screen. There you go. Yep, I see it perfectly.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to think of some trades I took today that might have had it. 56. Here's probably a decent example. This is Alcoa. So what I'm looking for first is stocks going from left to right in an upward trend. We're just talking about going long. Shorting is just this, but opposite.
Okay.
And this isn't the best example, but I can't really think of, like I said, things are few and far between. But basically what I'm looking for is an upward move, which I do not trade, followed by a pullback. And in this case, what I consider a pullback is when the candles stop making new highs. So this is a high of this current run right here. So I'm looking for these highs to stop being made. These are 1 minute candles. So when that happens, this is where the pullback happens. And these two candles are pullbacks. Okay. And what I try to do, if this was a strong momentum stock, is I wait for the first candle to break the high of the last pullback candle. So this candle did not break this high. So this is still a pullback. This candle did break it. So in a strong momentum stock, which this isn't really the best example, I would enter here, and my profit target is, if it works out perfectly, the high of this current run that we're in. So pullback, I enter in here, I look for the stock to get back to its highs, and I take profit as soon as you break it, like that. Now, this, I don't know how long this took. It could have been, towards the end of this candlestick closing and this one opening. It could have happened quick. But if this happened all in 1 minute, that's what I'm looking for. And then you rinse, repeat. You let the pullback happen. Did this make a new high here? It did. So this is a new high. This is a new high. That's a new high. That's a new high. That's a new high. That is a new high. This is our pullback candle. So all of this, I would not be trading. These are all just making a run up. This is the pullback candle that I'm looking for. If the pullback stays in the upper part of the current run that we're in, great. If this thing dumps, oops, that's why I wait for pullback. If this thing dumps down to the pits, I am not interested in this candle over candle method anymore.
Okay, got it.
That's why the pullback is so important. So
I see.
Pullback candle. Now I'm waiting for the last pullback candle. In this case, there's only one. I'm looking for that high to break. That's where I enter. I'm looking for high of the run. This is the high of our current run that we're in. And I take profit. That's it.
And where do you get out if you're wrong?
If it doesn't, so what I look for if I'm wrong is if I enter in and we break this high and it just kind of goes blip and then back down, I'm out.
Okay, got it.
So it needs to go immediately. If it doesn't go immediately, I'm out.
So your losses probably only last like those trades only last a couple seconds, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, my trades mostly are a couple. I mean, I'm looking at kind of my trade log here. Like this Nvidia today was 4 seconds long. This one was 13 seconds long. So I mean, normally it's seconds. Sometimes if you still see something, say it didn't work out, but I see something that I think it will continue on. If it just needs another go at it, I'll stay in it for a little longer. But in short, that's the methodology. Okay. And like I said, this isn't any kind of new thing. If you YouTubed 2-bar play or 3-bar play. This is that strategy. But like I said, I didn't realize that's what it was called when I was learning, because no one told me that, and there was nobody like me out there to tell people about that.
Yeah, okay.
So
I see. So okay, so we know the method, and I've watched your live streams for a while now. Like I see like a lot of the trades that you're making throughout the day, and the one thing that really stood out to me about a lot of these were that like it was the method itself looks so like incredibly simple. Like, you know, what you just explained there isn't very difficult to understand, or I'll see you taking these like breakouts of patterns. It seems to be, you know, just a direction, a pattern, and then by the breakout, basically, right?
Yeah.
So something that seems so simple, why is it that it seems like that the majority of people that are following you aren't making any money doing this? Some of them are, but most aren't.
I don't know about the majority. I wouldn't be willing to say that. If they're following me and they're learning, they shouldn't be using real money. So it's
okay.
We have a lot of different kind of traders in our group. There's, I would say, the minority of them is new traders. We have a lot of experienced traders that do their own thing, that are just part of a community. There's certainly plenty of people that come in and out that are new traders. But again, I could show them this is how to do it, and there's still a ton of variables that go into this. Whether they took too much size and they get in and they saw it go up by a penny and they sell immediately, and they miss the real exit that they were supposed to get out at. And now they see this move, the big move happen, and they get back into it because they think it's going to keep going up. Where in all reality, they bought the top and it comes back down on them. You know, not sticking to the rule set. But yeah, that's why it's really important. Like, there's all the people in my group, we preach the same stuff. Is you've got to learn the strategy. You have to be consistent on paper first. None of the people that are like in our leadership in the group will say, "Oh yeah, just jump straight in with real money." No, we all say weeks, months practicing on paper before you take your step into the real game. And then after that, it's 1 share at a time.
Okay.
After that, you go to 2 shares, then you go to 5 shares, then 10, then 15, then 20, then 25, then maybe 50. I mean, and that's a long process, because the entire time, every time you up your size, you scale up, your heart starts pounding when you get into a trade. And if it's pounding too much, you're probably going too big. You need to scale back down. But it's just the emotional side of things that you're constantly fighting.
Okay. So I guess what would separate you as a successful trader from the, like, not even the people in the group, just the people like in the world? What would separate you from the like 95, probably higher % of people that get into this and maybe try similar stuff to this, but it just never ends up really working for them? It sounds like psychology.